Hello, I'm John,
I'm Nancy.
and we are Jane and
Jane
Travels. Well,
Travels.
thank you for joining us on this, I guess cold in most of the world, but getting warmer down here in Florida.
Beats New Hampshire for sure.
We haven't done a live in a while, Nance, but we thought we'd pop up. We had a actually packed first week on our snowbirding and our journey down here. We thought maybe we'd share that.
Yeah.
Um, and stop before we headed over to Orlando to do the second part
That's
of
right.
our snowbirding.
Yeah.
So I see Sharon's popped in. How
Hey,
you doing,
Sharon.
Sharon? Nice to see you.
Hope all is well with you and your family.
And weather. I guess weather's the first thing.
Oh, yeah, weather.
We drove through Pensacola, and we drove through Georgia, and we drove through Virginia, and all
We
these
didn't
places.
drive through Pensacola.
Well, I mean the Panhandle, and they're all getting hit with snow. Down here's been a little chilly, and but we've survived. We've actually been in the pool already, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to pop this up right now. This is what we've been seeing in Florida. Okay, then we've gone to theme
Oh, I
parks,
know.
right? And
Everybody's been bundled up with their winter coats.
right, because we've hit night times of what, maybe 55 degrees here.
Yeah, last night was the coldest at 37 degrees.
And so this is what you see mostly lurking around. Hey, Captain Billy.
Hey,
Nice to see
Captain,
you.
how are you?
So this is your typical Pensacolian, Billy, right here, right now. And this is people who are coming
He's
back from the
crazy.
north, right, in the theme parks. I think we counted one, maybe two other people.
I only counted one other person in
Another person?
shorts, maybe two, but I only counted.
So one or two others here.
Yeah.
The captain's actually on his last sea day on the Princess.
Oh, wow. How's it going? Having a good time?
And we had we were hoping to hook up with Captain Billy actually this weekend when he got off the ship, but we kind of got into some mishaps with our Airbnb.
Yeah.
And we're still bouncing around from hotel to hotel until we're finally going to be settled in Orlando probably midweek, we're figuring right now.
No.
So I'm hoping maybe we can hook up with him at another point. So let's get into our journey down here, Nance, okay? So we hopped in the car, we waited for a decent day.
We did.
And the best day was on the 8th of January. You prefer to drive during the day. We usually have to put together 2 nights in one day or 2 days in one night. So we decided to leave early on the 8th. Like, what time was it? 8 o'clock in the morning?
I think we left at 8:54. It was like almost 9.
9 o'clock. And we drove until dark. We went through over the Tallahassee's now, what, the Como Bridge?
Oh, it's called the Tappan Zee, but well, Tappan
right.
Zee or the Como Bridge.
In New Jersey, which has a nice little rest area there with some of the people that came from New Jersey, right? Wasn't that kind of a collage of people, her being one of them?
I'm not really sure if they were born in New Jersey. I don't think she was.
We bumped into our typical favorite trash can with Smiley the Frog in New Jersey.
Yeah.
That was in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, this is in New
Big
Jersey.
green.
I think it's a welcome center or
Yeah, right outside the Welcome
Yeah.
Center. Through Delaware, which we get through, that's the shortest state and gives us the biggest hassle usually driving through Delaware. I remember we're coming from southern New Hampshire, so this is our route down. Most of it's 95. If anyone ever needs any kind of advice on, I think we finally got it straight this year after many years of driving,
yeah, made it down in 29 hours to the Florida Welcome Center.
which is very good for
It
us.
was very good. It was too cold to nap in the welcome centers. We had blankets, but too cold to sleep any longer than just an hour maybe. It was like 25 degrees.
Yeah, that's the problem. We usually, our overnighter, we just pull into welcome centers. They're very safe. The restrooms are open,
Yeah.
and we try and get some power naps. And this year, because it was so cold,
It was
it made
cold.
our trip quicker because we
Yeah.
really couldn't go to sleep.
I mean, we had the heat on, we had our blankets, but it's just too cold.
The captain says that his ship is rocking.
Oh, really?
The captain, how overall, how was you did it back to back. How were the 2 cruises? Was one better than the other? Did you like Princess? Because that's one that we've been wanting to go on.
Yeah, we'd like to try Princess. We tried MSC and we loved it, so we'd like to try another new
cruise.
cruise.
Yeah, ship.
Cruise line.
All right, we continue. Now, this is the funniest part. We
Yeah.
came in the DC area and the Virginia area.
Yeah,
And as y'all know, they have that big sign, big letters that Virginia is for lovers.
Virginia is for lovers.
And what would you say, 10 inches of snow?
They got 10
in
inches.
DC and 10 inches in the rest area at Virginia.
Yeah, they got quite a bit of snow, about 10 inches.
And that was the biggest snow. We left grass in southern New Hampshire.
Yeah.
We got into grass from the Carolinas down south, but right in the middle,
I know.
in Virginia and DC, we get nailed with
Yeah,
snow.
it was a lot of snow there, as you can see from that picture.
Let's see, Captain. This ship is okay. All right. Then we went Georgia. Now, Georgia was an interesting spot. They had a very neat little welcome center. Remember, they had the dump.
Oh, Forrest Gump,
Gump,
yeah, because there was a
statue.
scene in, there was a scene in Forrest Gump that was filmed in Savannah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they had that. And they had all sorts of things for Savannah and for Georgia.
Yeah,
Different props and stuff like that. But we actually debated because we figured out we were going to get down to Florida 3 days early. So we actually debated going down to Savannah, which we've been wanting to do forever.
mm-hmm.
Talked ourselves out of it when we were talking to the woman at the Welcome Center, and she was telling us, what was it, like 35?
Yeah, and it was
30?
raining, so
Right.
how could you enjoy walking around in the cold rain? So we opted to not do that and maybe do it at a later time, maybe on the way back home. It's better.
Right. Captain says, side by side on the Carnival Glory, my second time on there. Okay, he's been in the Glory twice. It's all right. It was noisy as the cabin was by the atrium. The Princess has been good, except a lot of rocking in
Oh,
the aft cabin here. Okay, better food.
better food though. That's good.
Sounds like you do recommend it though, Captain.
Yeah, it sounds nice.
Because we're looking at a Princess cruise. We're looking to go out of New York again this October, and we didn't really want to repeat Venezia or the MSC Magnolia twice. Well, we may end up doing that, but they did have an option for a Princess one.
Yeah, I like to try Princess.
Even though we didn't particularly like where it was going, so we'll just have to analyze that a little further. So we're at Georgia, and decided to keep going.
Yeah.
We're gonna spend the other three. We were first talking about maybe spending the time in St. Augustine's, right?
Yeah, we did talk about that.
And then we decided, let's just tack it on instead of making 4 nights in Titusville, because I guess they should have started by saying Nancyville wanted to go to the Kennedy Space Center for ages and also see the manatee. So we
Yeah.
decided this year to go down there for a few days. It was originally 4 nights. We decided to tack the 3 days on. We spent 7,
It
and
was great.
we'll go through exactly what we did in Titusville before we headed over to Orlando. So Nancy's last stop, we're at the Welcome Center in Florida. We got finally got there when it was awake, right?
Mhm.
And when we were awake, and the place was open.
We got our orange
We
juice.
got our orange
It was
juice, right?
good.
They do give you still the orange juice
Or grapefruit.
option or grapefruit. And of course,
Oh,
we're now in Florida. We had to stop at Buc-ee's.
they have the best coffee there. I really, really like their
Is it the coffee or the bathrooms like that?
coffee. I like the coffee, but the bathrooms are nice. I look forward to getting a nice cup of coffee there because it's really good.
We each get the biggest coffee they had.
Yeah.
We're never there really. We still haven't tried their sandwiches.
No, we haven't gotten
because-
any food. The only thing we've gotten there, this was quite a few years ago, was the beaver nugget.
which we didn't really care.
They're okay.
They like
They're very sweet. If you eat
like
too
a
many of
frosted
them,
what do we
well,
say,
they're
sugar pops, right?
Yeah, and you can, they make you nauseous if you eat too much.
Right. Finally got to our hotel. This hotel turned out, we were juggling between this hotel and others. The others had better breakfasts. This
Yeah.
one allows you breakfast.
Not a good breakfast.
It was called extended stay. The advantage of this hotel, it was in a cluster of several hotels, and the great thing about these hotels was they were less than 30 minutes west of Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah, very good location.
They were 30 minutes south of Merritt Island,
Yeah.
which we were gonna go see the manatees. They was 30 minutes north of the Brevard Zoo, which we
Yeah.
ended up going to.
Yeah, the Brevard Zoo is great.
So the location was fantastic. It was
Yeah,
right
loved it.
off of Route 4. The thing we're debating is, we like a good breakfast in mind. This place offered kind of a miniaturized kitchen. It had
Yeah.
a apartment size refrigerator, which we like to stock for 7 days. You want to stockpile some food.
Yeah.
It had a 2 burner stove, right burners,
Mhm.
and it had a oversized microwave. So that was one of the reasons we leaned towards this opposed to the ones that had better
Yeah, it was very
breakfasts.
convenient. I mean, we bought a dozen eggs and I made hard-boiled eggs and it turned out to be a good snack to take while we were, you know.
They tried to claim that they had a small breakfast. I think they call it a healthy breakfast.
Yeah,
But really all it was oatmeal. We did like the grits, which we
yeah,
hadn't
we
had in
did.
10
They
years or
were
so.
very good. I liked them very much.
But they're all packaged,
Yeah.
hot water packaged. They had coffee, but it was funny. They had these two big urns of coffee, but they only filled one, and they didn't fill it all the way because when we get down there last half hour of the breakfast, they ran out of the coffee.
Yeah, breakfast
So
was 6:30 to 9:30.
I think that was
And
it.
that was it. The coffee was shut off
Right.
after that. But, you know, you can make it in your room. I mean, they do give you packages of coffee and you can ask for more at the desk. Anything you needed, you can ask for at the desk. Toilet paper, Kleenex,
Right.
more coffee.
Yeah, the days have gone by of getting the complimentary maid service.
Yeah, you have to pay for that.
Which
Yeah.
I actually am glad of. I always felt
Yeah.
self-conscious, someone coming in my
Yeah.
room and all this kind of
I
stuff.
mean, you can exchange your towels. You just go downstairs and you put your towels in a plastic bag and they'll give you fresh towels.
And I think that's typical of places nowadays,
Yeah.
that people just get on and
Yeah.
get stuff at the front desk.
Yeah, it's a lot easier.
You
Yeah.
can pay for maid service if
Yeah, it
you
was
want.
$10,
I think it was
right?
$10 a day if you wanted someone to do
Yeah.
that. We debated doing it midweek, but it just feel comfortable having people come in our room, so
Yeah.
we left that alone. So in this case, if you're going down to Titusville, you kind of decide this is a great hotel if you're looking for something to have the ability to cook yourself.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you do save money. I mean, what else do we cook? We had soup and we had,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
what
what we did.
else we cooked.
Well, I mean, the boiled eggs were
Our
great.
boiled
because
eggs were great.
you
They were
eat
very
those.
filling and,
But the big thing is the refrigerator.
yeah.
You just stockpile with all sorts of stuff for
Yeah.
that.
Oh, we made shrimp scampi. That was another dish we had. We stopped at
That's right.
Aldi's. And Aldi's is a great grocery store. And we got food there, got shrimp, and
Well,
we made a nice shrimp scampi.
and that's a good thing to know about this cluster of hotels too. Every fast food you can imagine, they had all these, they had the mega Walmart.
Mhm.
So there's plenty
Yeah.
of places to
Yeah.
get food or to
I
bring
think you
food
made
back.
yourself a pizza. You got some nice bread at Walmart, made yourself a French pizza.
That's right.
So, yeah, it's good to have the uh,
So then,
refrigerator and the stove. Yeah.
so then we go into our days down there. This was basically unplanned, because we had
Unplanned.
the extra day. There's Cocoa Beach, which we never made,
Mm.
but there's a Cocoa Village, which is supposed to be a quaint area like a lot of the places in Florida. So we lucked out, we got parking right down by the waterfront. This is right on the waterfront. And there's a place called Taylor Park, which had restrooms, open
Oh,
restroom,
great. Yeah, public restrooms. Yeah.
place to walk around.
Interesting shops here. It was very, very nice. I loved it.
Very quaint. You
Yeah,
go
very
in, there's a
quaint.
lot of artist shops,
Yeah.
a lot of co-ops where
Yeah.
people would do their art and sell it from one spot. They
Yeah.
also had antiques like
Yeah,
that.
they had a really cool antique store.
Yeah, the antiques, or I guess you'd have to call it antiques, right?
Yeah, they were
it really wasn't
antiques.
flea market.
No, it was
It
antiques. It was an
Lo-
antique store.
Right. Then they had their bakeries,
Mhm.
they had bars, they had a nice French bakery with some delicious looking
Oh, I look cool.
desserts,
Yeah.
stuff like that. We
I
walked
like
up
this
more.
place. This place, dog friendly.
Dog and Bone, yeah, that was a British pub. It had the theme of a British pub, I guess. We've never been to the ones other than the one in
Never been
Epcot,
to it.
but that was really cute.
Okay.
And the funny thing with a lot of these, they were very pet friendly down there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Everything.
They had dog bowls, they had allowed dogs in almost anywhere you could go.
Mhm.
They also had, we didn't go into it, but they had a gift shop,
Pirates.
and Pirates
Yeah, Pirate
Museum, right?
Museum, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how good that was. We just kind of walked around that. And then at the end of it, okay, we checked out the bars and the bakeries and the restaurants and walked all around. It's something we'd like to do even later on. Stay down here. We'll go back to Celebration, but
Mm.
some kind of quaint towns we like.
Yeah, this is really cute.
So we finally made our way back to our car, saw some police cars down there, and I guess what had happened is the waterfront is right there. Like I said, we're parked right near it. There was a boat that had gotten damaged where it couldn't, it was a mobile from the
Yeah,
hurricane, the
I
last
guess 2
hurricane.
years ago, they said,
Was it that far back?
that's
I
what
thought it was this year.
that's what the
Okay.
police officer said. It was I don't know, and I looked it up and I thought they said Hurricane Nicole, um, 2 years ago.
Okay, well, it was close enough to the shore that a bunch of kids or some kids had jumped on it, were going in and out of the boat, and someone had called the police, and they were down there searching for these
I
kids.
don't know if they ever found them.
No, they didn't while we were, because they left when we were
They
there,
left,
and they
yeah.
never found them. So that kind of ended our day at Cocoa Village.
Yeah, it was really cute there. I mean, the shops, I loved all the shops. And then the Porsche house where they had a little wedding, that was really interesting. You didn't, you remember that?
Yeah,
That was neat.
yeah. What was that house though? You know what the,
It was called the Porsche house and,
I don't know what the historical significance was, but it was a Prescott House was right there in the center
right
of
in the
town.
center of town.
They were setting up for a wedding on the outside.
Yeah, it was very pretty. I guess it's open to the public for events. So they had a wedding that day.
So that was day one. Okay, now day 2 and 4, some of the things I bought before I went down to save time, save money was we bought the Universal annual pass,
Yeah,
and I bought a 2-day pass for Kennedy Space Center. Now, usually you can get one, it's, I don't know, around $80 plus maybe 30 to get the second day. It's cheaper. But they had AAA had a Black Friday sale, and I was able to get the second day for just an additional 10 or $15. So we got the 2-day one, which I thought was gonna be too much time.
yeah,
It
it was
turned out it
perfect.
was perfect.
It was perfect.
It
Yes.
took us 2 days to cover almost
Yeah,
everything.
it was fun because the second day we got to see the astronaut of the day, and that was excellent. And then just as he was finishing his speech, they had a launch. So that was fantastic
Yeah.
to see that.
Hello, Carnival Cruise Addicts. Thank you
Hello,
for coming
Cruise
in.
Addicts.
I missed anyone else there? Okay. Yeah, so that was, I highly recommend if you have never seen Kennedy Space Center and have even the slightest interest in space. I mean, they had
It was
all
fantastic.
sorts of stuff. You walk in and like the typical picture you see, they have what they call the rocket garden,
Hmm.
and it has a lot of the rockets. Obviously, they're not the ones that were shot up because they're in space, but these were actual rockets, not replicas of rockets that had gone into space that didn't get shot off for one reason or another. So you go in and do that. I guess when you go in the main entrance, there's a huge, big board, scrolling board with pictures and animation and stuff like that, which was a very impressive way to walk in. Then you hit the rocket garden. The big thing, which I want to highly recommend, is there is a free bus tour. Don't
Yeah,
skip
that
it.
was fantastic. You'd be sorry if you missed the free bus tour, 'cause that was amazing.
We are the friends that did everything but the bus tour, and what it does is not only takes you on the tour, you don't really get close to the launch pad, stuff like
No.
that. It's not that tour itself that I was impressed with, but it brings you to a building that has all sorts of space and rockets in it that you can't get to on foot. You have to take the bus to get to.
And what I liked was the original panel that you could see from when they were shooting off rockets.
Yes,
That
so,
was really
okay, so
cool.
it's in the bus, they would give you a tour, they had these big, TV screens that would give you background when there was spots where there was nothing to show, they would put something on the TV screen. And then like Nancy said, there was a studio set up
Yeah.
that was not a replica.
It wasn't
was
a
the
replica, it was
actual
the actual-
studio where they did, I forget what launch it was, but
I
it
don't
was some
remember
launch.
what launch it was. I don't know if it was the one when they went to the moon. I think it might have been that.
Well, it might have been,
I
and
think
they,
it was.
you might be right. And what they did is on the screens, they showed exactly what the countdown
Yeah,
and what
so
they
it
went
was
through.
what
So they
it was
reenacted it,
reenacted
basically.
it. Yeah, I was getting the chills just thinking, wow, this is where they sat when we actually landed on the moon.
Right.
So it was really cool.
And there was some
And speaking
massive
of the
rockets.
moon, there was a display where you can touch a moon rock. I
Yeah.
like that too.
Yes,
That
you
was
got a
cool.
kick out
I
of
did,
that.
I
Put
love
a
that.
finger, and we got a picture of
I
that.
touched a moon rock. Yeah, it was really neat.
Let's see. Billy went to the Space Center back in 1987 when I was 6.
Oh,
Yeah, we
wow.
make the joke, Billy, that the last time we had gone before this, there was
It was
no,
free.
no cost for parking, no cost to get in.
Yeah, it was free.
Now, they
That
do
was,
charge, like we said, it's about an $80 ticket for
Yeah.
one day,
It was definitely worth it.
and they do charge you for parking. Keep that at 15. So I guess the extra day brings on an extra $15 charge
Yeah.
there. I read the title, Snowboarding.
Hmm.
Be doing a live. Okay.
That's it.
Did I? I hope I didn't typo that. So,
Would you-
so
Would you get snowboarding?
Carnival Cruise addicts read it as snowboarding live. They thought we were going to go down the slope. That would be pretty
Goodness.
funny.
Oh, God.
You know, I just had talked to my mother today, and she was talking about my brother and my sister-in-law, and they were heading up high into New Hampshire, the hills of New Hampshire, to go skiing. And we're heading as far south as we can go
I
to
know.
hit the sun. Talk about different dynamics in a
They're
family.
just winter sports people. We used to ski, but we gave it up when we were 30, but we both skied.
Yeah,
We
my
had-
biggest
we had
fear was
fun.
when I hit ice patches, and I
Yeah.
said, "This is not going to work for
Yeah,
me."
our last ski trip, it was in Killington, Vermont. We spent more time in the bars than we did on the slopes.
Now, everything that you remember from the history of space, you know, the rovers, the whatever, you know, the Skylab, all sorts of stuff. They had some kind of a replica of it, of actual size, or they had smaller versions of it.
Hmm.
So it's like I said, it's fascinating if you
It
like
is
any out
fascinating.
of space.
It was really cool.
There was a lot of, the other thing was when you get back to the main area, some of the things that were there was, remember they had 2 IMAX films?
Yeah, those were fantastic. I learned all about the James Webb Telescope. Boy, it's so massive and it's so impressive, and it's finding new galaxies. It's just amazing.
I actually, my job, which I still do when I go back, deals with, I track satellites. And so space has always been an interest of mine, but never to the point where I studied the stuff that we saw down at Kennedy Space
I
Center.
know. I was so impressed by that James Webb Telescope. It was amazing how they built it, how much it cost, what it can do. Fascinating.
So, like I said, they had rovers, they had the lunar landing modules, everything you could want on display there.
Here we go.
Then when you got back to I think, no, this was actually, when you went out of the building, so you saw a bunch of rockets, then you went out, and it was an area that had it was like a plaque, right? What
Yeah.
were they for every launch, every Apollo launch?
Every
was it just
Apollo, yeah, it was a circle, and they had all the Apollo missions and the astronauts that
And
were,
listing them.
yeah.
Yeah, and of
So
course,
it
the
was cool.
history of all the different astronauts
Yeah.
and stuff like that you got to see.
Yeah.
At that point, once you walked through the outside a little, you got back on the bus and went back to the main area.
Yep.
Okay, now there was a couple of hands-on type of things. There was one, if you notice in the thumbnail, which was basically Nancy. I think I did it too, right?
Yeah, we
You
both
stand in
did
front
it.
of a camera,
Yeah.
it makes you look like you're in a space
We
suit.
both did it because we both sent pictures to our children as us being
Well,
astronauts.
we'll also stick that up as a short at some point.
Yeah, it was fun.
But just different things like that.
Yeah.
There was a whole building given to individual missions,
Yeah,
stuff like that. These things are huge.
those are
It's
massive.
not like small museums where you put a few stuffed animals,
No,
but these are massive
they're massive
rockets.
rockets. Amazing. Also, they had, that was a fun interactive, simulator that they took you to the moon and you could, get moon rocks. That was fun. It felt like, I
Yeah, we'll
love
talk about that
that.
in a minute
I
when we
love
get over
that.
there.
That was really cool.
Well, it's funny because the two IMAX shows actually had someone selling popcorn and people would go in and it was, what were they, 40-minute long shows?
Yeah, yeah,
They were interesting.
They
They would
were.
consider them IMAX. I don't know if they're true IMAX. Isn't true IMAX really a lot more 3D?
yeah, I think so, yeah.
But they were fascinating. Like you
Yeah, they
said, one
were.
was a telescope. What was the second day? We saw that the first day, and I can't remember whether it was the second day we saw.
I think they've just talked about the new galaxies that were being,
Yeah, finding the
Finding
no,
with
I
the
think that was
telescope.
part of the telescope one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Billy seems to think these pictures are out of this world.
Thank you, Billy.
So of course we went around a lot of these rocket modules and stuff like that. You could get in and look around at the different the way it works. You could sit in a seat and pretend you're piloting it.
Yeah,
They did have a uh, realistic thing where you could go and pretend you're on the shuttle launch. We
Yeah.
did not do it. I'm picturing it's kind of like the space ride attraction over in Epcot with the launch. One of the things that Nancy was excited about is
Oh, I was
what was the
thrilled.
movie you saw?
So I saw a movie about a year ago. It just looked like a good movie. So I said, oh, I'll watch this. And it was called A Million Miles Away. And it was about this astronaut, Jose Hernandez, and his journey into being an astronaut. It took him 11 times before he was accepted into the NASA astronaut program. I thought it was a very inspiring movie, and I forgot all about it. And then when they said the astronaut of the day was Jose Hernandez, I was thrilled because I knew a little about his story.
What they do is NASA will, I assume, hire an ex-astronaut.
Mhm.
They will come in for like 5 days, 4 days. They'll do a Q&A, which we went to. Very interesting. They
Mhm.
talk, and like Nancy said, this one was a little more interesting because he went through all the times that he get turned down, and
Yeah,
how he almost gave up. And
yeah,
I've never seen it. Nancy saw the movie, so if you want to know more about
yeah. It's called A Million
Jose
Miles Away.
Hernandez, take a look at that movie.
Good movie.
So he gave the Q&A for that, and he spoke on stage in his uniform, all about that. Now, the interesting thing that happened was that there was a rocket launch.
Yeah,
Talk about
I
coincidence, being
know.
at the right place at the
Right
right
place at the
time.
right time.
There was, I think it was a SpaceX was
Yes,
going off that
I
day.
believe that was
So they
SpaceX.
actually wanted to get us out of the Q&A a little early so people could run over to the bleachers. They have a whole area
Yeah.
at NASA where you can sit in the bleachers or stand and watch the launch get off. So we ran over to the rocket launch viewing and we did catch
We
it.
did catch it. It was really cool. It's really cool to be that close.
So talk about added,
I
right?
know that was added. That was an added bonus, and that was the second day that we did that. So it was good that we had the 2 days
Well, we
because we
didn't
would have missed that.
we missed that. You would have missed the Q&A, which is one of
Yeah,
the things
and I
we're looking
really
at.
liked it. He was great. His PowerPoint was fantastic. He didn't know about his story, but he really enjoyed the PowerPoint that he had done. It was fascinating.
And they had right after the flight, the launch, they had a book signing.
Yes.
Now you could go in, you didn't have to have a book, you could wait in the line, it wasn't that long,
No,
maybe
it wasn't.
15 people, you wait in line, he'd sign anything you had to sign,
Yeah,
or you could pose for a picture with him or shake his hand. I shook his
he
hand.
got to shake his hand.
Um,
Yeah, that was
But
good.
other than that, we didn't get anything signed.
No, we didn't get anything signed.
But-
Just knowing
but-
he was there
yeah.
and seeing him was enough for me.
It was another great experience. Like I said, a lot of things happened that were just very interesting.
Yeah.
Another part of it was they had this video game. Uh, and it was interesting how it set it up. You had to get with a QR code
Yeah.
and scan it in, and you had to pick a time. It was reservation only. Because we were there early in the morning, and it was a very slow day.
Mm.
We got ours 15 minutes after we signed up.
Yeah, it was great. We got right on it.
You go into this room, there's 4 terminals, and
It's so cool.
you put on the goggles,
Yeah.
virtual reality,
Yeah.
and basically makes you feel like you're going into space, and
Yeah.
then you have two devices that you pull and it reaches out and grabs moon rocks.
Moon rocks, right.
And if you grab the wrong moon rocks, it subtracts points. If you do
Yeah.
the most, it gets it.
That
So
was a lot of fun.
that was an experience another
love that.
experience we didn't expect.
Yep, that was cool.
Let's see, Carnival Cruzak said that was a really great movie.
Oh, you saw it, yeah, wasn't it? I loved it. I was so surprised that he was there at Kennedy Space. I was thrilled.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't mind it. I always thought about shooting in the space, Billy. But the game was kind of cool to just try because
Yeah.
it was, even for novices like us, we were
It was
able
fun.
to really have a good time with it.
We had a
right?
good time with it, yeah.
So then we walked around, there were displays outside, rovers, moon cars, whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it, all sorts of stuff. We kind of covered all the stuff we didn't do the first day, right?
Yeah. Oh, this was a cute show.
And then the last thing
Yeah.
that we kind of came across was they have some kind of agreement or with Peanuts.
Yeah, yeah.
And they had these puppets. They were the
Oh,
coolest things.
They were very cool.
The people would stand behind them and they would control them. So the mouse would move,
Yeah,
the characters would move, and they did a show.
yeah. I think, what was it called? I can't remember now.
It was All Systems I
Oh,
Go.
All Systems Go. There it is, yeah.
So this is good and bad. Okay, it was the last show of the day and the last show of our trip. The show broke down about 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
That was sad. It was a
Unfortunately.
cute show, but the good part was to make it up to people. They did come out and give us these little pins, which
Oh, those are cool.
were great.
Yeah. I
Nancy
love them.
collects
I
pins
collect
to a
pins,
point.
so
So
I got my NASA pin as my souvenir. They call it the meatball. I got that pin, and then I was thrilled to get the Peanuts All System Go pin. So that was really neat.
that was kind of a bonus. 2/3 of the show and getting the pin,
Yeah.
or
I mean,
watching the
it was
whole show and
awesome.
get no pin.
I know. I like the pin. That was really cool. And I also got my NASA magnet, which I love. So those are my souvenirs from
Well, you
NASA.
get the NASA magnet and you get a NASA pin.
Yep.
You know what I said?
Yeah, I got
And
the
then we
NASA
got the
pin.
other pin, the Peanuts pin.
Yep.
along
So
with it.
that was a surprise. So that was nice.
And then we headed out. That was the end of our 2 days, day
Yeah.
2 and day 4.
Yeah.
And day 3, which was sandwiched in between the two NASA days. What we should have said is after our visit to NASA, we tried to go to an area that was a manatee overlook.
Mm-hmm.
There were no manatees.
No.
We were told the water's too cold. I guess
Yeah.
this cold weather affected manatees too.
Yeah, we were
So on
disappointed.
that was day 1, and so no, that was day 2. So day 3, which is the middle of the two NASA days, we decided to go north 20 minutes and go to the northern part of Merritt Island.
Mm-hmm.
So we went in there. There were plenty of birds to see. That was
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of fun.
I liked the birds. Oh, by the way, though, when we were in Nassau, we saw a huge alligator and an eagle nesting in its nest. So that was really cool because on the way back on the bus tour, the driver said, if you look to your right, you should be able to see an eagle nesting in its nest. And sure enough, we did. And to the left was a huge gator. So that was cool to see in that.
Yeah. Carnival Cruise says you came down here and brought all the cold weather
We
with
did.
you.
We came down and brought all the cold with us.
Yeah, actually, I went to tell you guys that they're more towards the Tampa side, I think, of Florida. If you're ever after next week, if you're ever in the Orlando area, send us a message, and look us up.
Mm.
We'll be there till probably April, right?
Yep.
So we're at Manatee Observation Deck, another disappointment. We arrived there, there was a old car show, remember?
Yeah, that was kind of cool seeing the old cars.
So
that was a surprise.
So we managed to get a spot, but all the spots were full,
Yeah.
except for this one spot. They were all having their little meeting.
Yeah.
We
that was
hung
cool
out at
seeing
the
them.
observation deck, looking into the water.
It was a
No
beautiful day.
manatees.
A little chilly, of course, but beautiful.
And
sunny.
we had come here many years ago, and there were manatees here, so I
We
know they
did
do
see
exist.
them. We did see them. Oh gosh, over 30 years ago.
But the signs did say that it had to be 70, right, the
It
water,
did
and
say
it
that.
was in the
Yeah,
60s, so
yeah.
they didn't come in.
Yeah,
So that was sad. So we looked for a while, just enjoyed the scenery, and
Yeah.
then we went across the street to a place called Haul Over Canal. And the reason it's called Haul Over is they used to haul over your canoes
yes.
from one side to the other until the canal was built. This is a very interesting area. We figured, maybe we'll see a manatee there.
Hmm.
But we just kind of walked around this area. We drove down to the beach part where I
Yep.
guess people put their canoes in the ground. And there was a beach at the end, nice view of the
That was
ocean.
very pretty.
And then we came back up along the canal edge and just peeked in every now and then to see if we could catch anything. But it was nothing. It was a beautiful
No,
view,
beautiful.
something to do.
Yeah, a lot of people fishing in these little coves here.
Right.
Oh, and the bridge, yeah. That was cool.
So at that point, we decided we're going to give one more check at the manatee to see if maybe a manatee wandered in, right?
Yeah.
So we went back to the overlook. In the meantime, one of the roads we came over, we didn't realize, but it was a drawbridge.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, it is cool to see. And I was hoping to see.
Nancy's been counting. You only seen two so far,
I've
right?
seen two so far, yeah.
So she saw an armadillo out in the wild. So you saw your alligator, your armadillo, your
An
bird,
eagle. Yeah,
eagle.
I was pleased. No manatees, but I did see
Right.
my armadillo.
So then we drove. So we went to the same spot again. Saw nothing. All the old cars were gone. And then we headed out to check out maybe if we could find a trail here or there. Okay, so Carnival Cruise are 2 hours south. I didn't realize you were that further south of Tampa.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So are you getting your weather is probably slightly cooler than Orlando, right? Well, maybe not because it's south. I'm just thinking because of the cold air coming in from the water, but
Mm.
that's the bay side, so they're probably not getting as cold a breeze, I would think. Okay, so we drove out of the area where the manatees were, and we hit a couple trails along the way. One of them was called Hammock Trails.
Yeah, that was really nice.
It was just a nice little walk in the woods, right?
Yeah.
We saw something we had never seen before, which were those oranges,
Yeah,
wild orange trees, right?
I kept seeing oranges on the ground and I look up and there's the orange tree. That was really cool.
So
to
that,
see those in the wild.
and this was a nice groom trail,
Oh, that was
too, a nice
beautiful.
level
Yeah,
groom trail,
beautiful.
because we had done one coming up that was very uneven. This was very groomed.
Yeah.
Of course, we always love seeing our palm trees and
Yeah,
all
I
that.
love that. It was
Yeah.
a nice little walk, an easy walk, and we didn't see any wildlife at that walk, but this
Right.
one.
So we completed, and then on the way back, which is very close to our hotel, there's a place called the Enchanted Forest.
Yeah, Enchanted Forest Sanctuary it's called.
Now, it's nice if you're just trying to take a hike. We kind of thought with that name in it and this turtle was sitting out front in the pen that we'd see a lot of the wildlife.
Yeah.
Did we see anything in there at all?
No, we didn't.
Some more oranges.
Yeah, more oranges,
Right.
right?
So we took they did have stuff inside. I
Yeah.
wouldn't call it a museum, but some stuff on display
Right, and
inside the
there's no
building.
cost for this
Right.
trail. You can, you can go in and look at the little museum and then there's several little trails.
Some very old, unique trees that
Yeah.
we saw that was fascinating.
Yeah, I think this was the mangrove trail. It was a little longer trail and I wanted to do the longer one, so this was nice. But you had to be careful. There was a lot of roots that you could easily trip over if you weren't watching where you were stepping.
Yeah. That's interesting. I meant to ask Billy that. He said the snow is melting in Pensacola, should mostly be melted by the time we get back.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because we've had cold weather up until today. It's in the 60s today. We may take a short walk when we're done, but and people are in the pool because the pools are heated. But for the next 10 days, it's supposed to be in the 70s and even reaching 80 towards, I think, next weekend. So any snow around down here is going to be gone.
Mhm.
So, Billy, you should be able to come home to some nice weather, actually. All right, so we left you said some unusual stuff and plants,
Yeah.
palm trees, different kind of berries that were
Yeah,
very
beauty
interesting.
berries, I guess they're called.
What they used for something weird?
I don't know. There was one plant that was used to, I don't remember, some coffee plant. It said, I don't know what it was used
Yeah,
for.
some kind of weird thing. I
Yeah.
remember now. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
And Nancy was foraging around. She wanted to take some palm branches home with her, but they wouldn't let her
I
out.
was sweeping the trails.
Then we get into our last day down in Titusville.
This was a pleasant surprise because we didn't plan on doing this.
Well, we had no intention. Nancy really wanted to
I
go.
really
We
wanted
had
to
a
go.
day to kill. The very last day, actually, we
It
just
was.
hung around the hotel and packed and just took a nice, relaxed day. So this was like the second to last day. So we decided to give it a shot. Like I said, it's no less than 30 minutes south of where we're staying, called the Brevard Zoo. Don't know if anyone's ever been there. We see this excursion every time we're on a cruise coming
Yeah,
on Port
I
Canaveral.
highly recommend it.
Never really, it's a smaller zoo, so I didn't think they'd have much.
It was
We
really
were
nice.
extremely surprised. For
Very
a smaller
pleasantly
zoo,
surprised.
they had some experiences that we have never had before.
Right.
So you get into the zoo, which is 30 years old, right?
Yeah,
And
30 years old.
they had a little area which had some goats. And I'm saying, okay, this is a petting zoo from up north. This is nothing exciting. Is
Yeah.
this what the whole thing's gonna be? Well, we patted the goat and then we moved on. They had the flamingos down there, which were beautiful to
Yeah,
watch.
I like the birds.
Then there was an aviary type area, which was really cool.
It was cool.
These parrots would come right on your hands. They would, I held two or three in on one hand at one point.
Yeah.
And then you had some that were actually
I
crawling
had
up
one
your
on my,
arm.
yeah, I had one on my shoulder.
I mean, they were the coolest things.
They were very cool.
One actually bit a hole in my finger, but that was probably my fault.
Yes, he was injured by one.
And then there was another area, and this is probably, I would say the three top areas, well, in no order, especially with the birds.
Yeah.
This area right now is the, I don't know what the term would be, but they had the, not the ostrich, what do they call them? Emus, and they had kangaroos. Now, we have never gone to a zoo where you could get anyone near an emu
No.
or a kangaroo. If they're
No.
not kangaroo, I'm not sure.
That was a cool experience in itself.
So the emus came right up to you.
Yep.
And then the kangaroos, you could go in there
Oh,
and they were
they were
just
so close.
all around you. I
They were
mean,
so cool.
yeah, they wouldn't let you pat them. You
No.
could sneak a touch in, but they didn't want you to pat them.
No.
But they were just everywhere. And
Mhm.
I never thought that humans could go near these
I
things.
know. They were unbelievable.
I mean, we posed for different pictures with the groups.
Yep.
We did have the guy at one point take a picture of the two of us with the kangaroo,
Yeah.
just to prove that we were
Yeah.
actually near kangaroos.
That's a good picture.
But I don't know. I still look back at that. I would probably go back to the zoo just for that.
Just for that, I would too.
Even though, okay, so this was a second experience that
was
we
a
would never have
surprise.
come across.
That was very cool.
They also had these turtles walking around. Every place you go with the turtles, they tell you, don't touch them, don't touch
Right,
them. They
you
were in
could
the
pat
same area as the kangaroos and the emus, right?
Yeah.
So that was great. Now this,
These
I don't
were-
know which was
Oh,
the
I
favorite
love it.
thing for Nancy. Okay, we had the birds, we had the kangaroos, like I had mentioned,
Yep.
and then you could go up and literally, we had a picture somewhere in there where Nancy was actually kissing the giraffe, but these giraffes came right up to her.
Oh, they were amazing.
I mean, it
Oh,
was,
so cool.
never thought we'd ever get posted up to a, look at that, somehow that slipped in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do you like the emus, kangaroo area, the bird area, or the giraffe area?
I
If you had
gotta
to pick
say, I
one.
love the giraffe.
She really gets
Yeah,
into
I
giraffe.
got into this. This was cool. I loved it all, but the giraffes were my favorite.
Yeah, the interesting things about these kangaroos is they were small. They actually weren't babies. They
No.
were smaller ones, and they were females.
Yeah.
And there was only one male in there, but this male was so big that he endangered the females without going into details.
And didn't he only father one?
Oh, I don't know if he.
They said he
fathered
only fathered.
one.
He he wasn't that prolific. He only fathered one.
Okay. So those are the main three things. I don't know. I probably lean towards the kangaroos just because I have the birds were neat, but we've
The
done
birds
that
were neat,
before.
yeah.
But you with the
I
giraffe
yeah,
was
I love the
incredible.
giraffe. Yeah, I love the kangaroos, but I'll have to say for me it was the giraffe.
And they all came back to you.
Yeah.
And then some of the other animals, like I said, small zoo, I didn't expect
Yeah.
many bigger
I mean,
animals, just some of them.
tortoise was from the Galapagos Islands. Yes, that was a huge tortoise that you would see in the Galapagos Islands. They had 2 of those.
Okay, but some of the cool things you'd see, just random other animals, they had the, not Gilmore, what do they call
Oh,
it? Dragon?
Komodo
Komodo
dragon.
dragons, which incredible species.
Yeah, really. And the monkeys.
We actually came in and they were hiding the first time. We went by
Yeah.
the second time and they were out and about.
Yeah, that was good. You got to see them.
They had lions,
Oh, it was so
which
funny.
I didn't think they'd have at the zoo.
It was so funny. One of the balls got stuck in a tree, and the lions were using their paws to try to
Looked like
lift the
a kitten,
ball
a
up.
cat,
They
yeah.
looked like just big cats. Yeah, that was really funny to see.
And then, of course, a rhino, which
Yeah.
rhinos, I love rhinos.
Yeah.
I think they're the most awesome. You'll see these, you can go to the Animal Kingdom, Disney, and see the rhinos walking all around.
And we can't forget about the monkeys. The monkeys were really cool. The way that they were going from one cage to the next, how they had that huge tunnels.
I'm surprised that more zoos don't have it.
That was
So like
good.
Nancy's saying, they had a tunnel, but it was really cages.
It's
So think of
caged, yeah.
cages that are all connected.
All
So
connected,
as
yeah.
you're walking around the paths, you look above you, these
Yeah.
paths. In fact, they had some warnings about going to the bathroom.
Yeah, they did. They were just going. They were so
right.
funny. They were just running from these tunnels.
From one area to the area, other area. That was really cool.
That
And
was.
then we went back because we wanted to see a sloth. They had 5 areas with sloths, 3 to 5 areas. You could barely see them.
Yeah,
We
you could
did
barely
see them a
see
little bit
them,
in 2 of
yeah.
the spots, but
Yeah.
there is the zoo does offer encounters. You pay extra. You can feed certain animals. You can actually hold the sloth like they do on a lot of the cruise excursions.
Yeah, it was a wonderful zoo. I think the price was reasonable as well.
Yeah.
And it was great.
So try it. If you've ever questioned going to Brevard Zoo, it's an experience you probably would enjoy.
Yeah, I would give it a 5 out of 5. I loved it. It's small, but you can't beat the encounters with the animals.
So then we wind down. That was the last day. We spent the last day at the place, Extended Stay America. We told you about the good and the bad of that. We will have videos coming out to actually show the rooms if you're interested. And that ended it. Then we headed out on the 16th. We headed over to, we headed all over the place because, like I said, there was a glitch in our Airbnb. So we ended up bouncing from hotel to hotel and visiting some friends and stuff like that. Hopefully, we'll be set in our place by mid next week. And that's our snowbirding adventure done, right, Nancy?
Yeah, it's been a fun journey. I really enjoyed Kennedy Space. I enjoyed Merritt Island. I enjoyed the Brevard Zoo. And soon we'll be enjoying the warm weather and we'll be able to get into our condo and enjoy the pool there.
Billy wants to know if the kangaroos have foster. They did, but we took them. Nancy grabbed the 2 fosters that were there. So they never got them. All right. Well, we thank you for coming in.
Thank you all for
hopefully we'll do
joining
a
us.
pop-up live down the road. Anyone's watching some replay,
Yeah.
follow us along. We're going to be down in Florida till the end of April. If you want to look us up, if you're going to be in the Orlando area, we've got 3 meetups with YouTubers set already, and we love to meet up with people. So keep in touch, right, Nancy?
That's right. And stay young and have fun. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.